Hi all, good evening. Yes, I welcome all of you to the second day of this boot camp for 3D modeling, which is organized by Rotary Club of Madras Metro and supported and presented by Tech-iera Innovations Private Limited. So, to let me know if you are all with me, kindly drop in your greetings over here in the live chat so that I can know that you people are hearing me and we can proceed further. Hi, good evening, everyone. Those who are texting here in live chat. Superb. So as we are stepping into the second day of this course, we are even more going to go further and explore few other tools of Blender, and we are going to get to know how to create a model, how to create a 3D model, and all those things together here today in the second day of the class. Okay. So to proceed further, now here I am going to share the Blender screen with you. Yes. So yesterday we were seeing a few tools together. So can someone type in the list of tools that we saw yesterday just quickly in a word here in live chat? So whatever tools you remember that we saw, you can please type here in the live chat in just in one word. Yes. Come on, let's just compete with each other. You can just type in only one word of whatever tool you remember that we saw yesterday. Anyhow, we will be having a brush up session after this. So you just type in the list of tools that you remember that we saw yesterday, just in a word. Okay, superb. So as you keep the answers coming now here, let me just debrief whatever we saw yesterday, right? So yesterday we just went through the interface of Blender and yes, as Shubham has said over here, it is the select tool that we saw. In case if we want to select any object from the scene, we have to go over to the select tool, select it, and then using that tool we can select any object whichever present in the scene. Okay, so this view is called as the viewport. Okay, viewport, viewport. And then next to this selection tool, we also went through the complete tour on the interface. So over here we have this scene collection wherein this is also addressed as hierarchy, when we get to see the list of elements that are present over here in the scene view, here in the hierarchy. Right, so depending on this hierarchy or whatever element we are able to see here in the hierarchy, everything will be there here in the viewport. So next to this hierarchy we have this properties panel which is over here, and this properties panel will keep changing its options according to the type of element or type of object that we opt for. Okay, so that is how properties panel will react. So next to properties panel, I mean in properties panel itself, we explored different types of properties, and we also went through how to bring in or how to change in unit of I mean measurement unit, and how to bring in colors or something for the elements, and all those things were also a part of the properties panel which is located over here. And next to this properties panel over here, we also saw that there is uh, the timeline which is present over here, and this timeline is for the animation, that in case if we are creating any type of animation for our objects present over here. And then next to the animation timeline, over here on top we have a menu, and then next to the menu we have different types of tabs present over here. So each and every tab will give us a kind of different options or different functionalities which we could work on. So all these types of different tabs are the different modes of our work. Okay, and next to it we also went through how to add an object and all those things, and also we got to see the shortcut for it and all that, right? So next to it, over here we have the switch between axis. Okay, so we also learned what is z axis and how is z axis different from x and y axis, as which is the obvious difference between 2D and also 3D. Okay, so there we saw what z axis will do and what x, y, and z axis are. So next to it, we also went through the move tool which is over here, and also we got to see different options between panning the viewport, toggling the viewport, and also zooming in and zooming out of the elements. And then next to it, we also saw about 3D cursor and also origin point. So we also got to know the difference between 3D cursor and the origin point. Can someone type here in one word to let me know what is 3D cursor and what is origin point according to your understanding? So you can just type in a word on what is 3D cursor and what is origin point in an object. Yes, what is 3D cursor and what is origin point from your understanding? So origin point acts like a pivot point. So I told you that origin point is also addressed to be a pivot point. P-I-V-O-T, pivot. Okay. So pivot point is nothing but the center point of any object. Okay, and when we talk it is center point, it doesn't has to be always uh, it needn't has to be always in the center. Okay, this the origin point can be anywhere in the object, so wherever it is, that point will be taken as the center point of the shape, I mean of the object. Okay, so here we also have people who have answered origin point is the center of the object, and pivot point it is determined by orange color. Okay, yes, so the origin point or the pivot point is this orange dot which is present over here in the center. And then the difference between this origin point and the 3D cursor is, so wherever we have this 3D cursor which has the representation of red with white circle and then black lines around it, so that is called as the 3D cursor. And then the 3D cursor is responsible to create an object in any point of place in the viewport. So wherever this 3D cursor is placed, so over there the object can be created. Okay, so this 3D cursor will be helpful when we are setting up a huge scene. Okay, let's say for example if we are building a 3D model of a construction building. Okay, so if we are creating a 3D construction building, so over there let's say the area of the construction will be vast and wide like this. So over there, if you want to show this as one building and there will be several other buildings around it. So over there you cannot manually create everything over here and then move and keep the objects in their respective places, right? So in that case, you can make use of this uh, make use of this particular 3D cursor wherein you move them to any point of the viewport, and then you tend to create a new object or new mesh over here in that place wherever the 3D cursor is. And apart from 3D cursor, the origin point, as I was telling you previously, it always needn't has to be only in the center. Okay, so the origin point can be anywhere in the object. Okay, the origin point can be located over here or wherever it is, right? But one thing that you have to remember is that wherever the origin point is located in the object, so that point will be considered as the center point of the object. So this thing is very important for you to know, because when you are trying to animate something or bring some kind of 3D animations wherein which you have seen in some movies. So for those things and all, let's say for example, if you are bringing in a car, okay, and the car has the animation of the wheel. Okay, the wheel is rotating, and over there if you are bringing in okay, let me just show you that one by adding a wheel over here. Okay, let me just bring it to 90 degree. Okay, so here I'll just type it as -90. So here this seems, let's just assume this to be a wheel, okay, and then the wheel has to rotate like this, okay. So in that case, your origin point should be in the center. If your origin point is over here or somewhere else in the wheel, okay, so over there, what will happen is that your rotation animation will happen from this point. Okay, so now let's say I am selecting this 3D cursor and let me move this 3D cursor over here. Okay, and then right click and then snap. So I am just uh, making this 3D cursor to come over here. Okay, right. So here what I'm doing is um, I'll go to origin and then I'll move this origin to 3D cursor. Okay, so now my 3D, origin point is over here. Okay, so what will happen is if I am performing rotation, everything will happen from this point. Okay, so even if I perform, even if I specify the direction on the rotation of the wheel, so it will behave like this. Okay, so which is not actually right. So in that case, you have to maintain the origin point in the center of the object. So depending on your which purpose you are creating things for, or whichever purpose you can create 3D models for, but it is always good that the origin is set to the center of the object. Okay, so now let me just move this to um, uh, okay, now let me change the cursor to world origin, and then let me go here, set origin, and then origin to 3D cursor. Okay, now the origin point is located in the center of the object. So now if I press R and if I press X, okay, so here the wheel will rotate in this axis, anti-clockwise or clockwise. Okay, so this is how you have to set the origin for any object. Okay, so this is one important thing about origin and then the pivot point. Okay, so now after knowing all these things, okay, we also got to know there are different other tools like move, rotate and scale. Okay, so wherein we can adjust its transform values. And then next to this, we also went through some other options of what else did we see yesterday? So did we see anything else yesterday? Of okay, yeah. So here we saw that there is something called as top view or something. I told you yesterday, right? So I was just shifting between views and I was telling you this, but I did not go much in detail in all those things. So let us start from there for today's class. Okay, so here whenever it comes to 3D, okay, so we all know that I mean we all by now might have known and understood that when we compare 2D and 3D, over there in 2D, we will be able to see things only in two views, okay, which will be in X and Y. Like we see them from top, so we get to see them only in these two axes. But here in 3D, we all might have understood that we can visualize everything in 3D, three dimension. Okay, so whichever direction we want, we can view things from that. So this is the understanding that we might have got by now. So when we talk about visualizing things from all the directions, okay, so we also have to know which direction we are looking, I mean from which direction we are looking at our object. Okay, whether we are seeing it from front view or top view or left or right or whatever it is, we have to know, right? So to to let us know about it, over here on top left we have this particular area wherein we get to see what angle are we looking at the image, I mean at the model from. Okay, so here now it says user perspective. So here I would like to tell you about another two things importantly. Okay, so one is called as perspective. So when it comes to views, okay, please take a notebook, pen and write things down. So when you take up views, okay, there are two different views. So one is perspective and one is orthographic. Okay, I'll repeat it again. One is perspective. Spelling is Perspective. Perspective. Okay, and then the other type of view is orthographic. Orthographic. Okay, I'll repeat the spelling again. Ortho, O-R-T-H-O, orthographic, okay, G-R-A-P-H-I-C, orthographic. So these are the two different views that we can view, I mean, visualize our 3D models in. Okay, so one is the first one that we are going to talk about is user perspective. Okay, so by the name perspective itself, we are able to guess that it is about a perspective in the sense each and every object will have its own perspective. Like in now let me show you something for this. Okay, perspective images, yes. Okay, so here yes, yeah, so let me show you this image which is over here. Okay, so all these images which are over here has its own perspective. So in that case, now if I could just open something. Okay, so just imagine this is the 2D image. Okay, can you believe when I tell you that this is a 2D image? Obviously, you will not be able to believe it, but it's just the kind of appearance that is given in this. Okay, so let us just recreate this image in 2D. Okay, for that, let me open Illustrator. So let us just create an image which looks like 3D. Okay, so this thing I am doing because you who are getting into 3D modeling should know the different types of perspectives, or even to know that there are perspectives over there available. Okay, so here we are going to create that image. So now what I'll do is I'll just change the appearance of the artboard. So those who are there in graphic designing and UI UX will know what this perspective is. But here I am just doing this for people who don't, I mean, who were not there in the session. Okay. So now we are just going to recreate this entire image. Okay. So first we are going to bring in one rectangle which is over here. Okay. So to draw a rectangle, what I'm doing is I'm just bringing in a rectangle like this. Okay. And let me keep it in the center. Okay, let me align it in the center. Now what I'm going to do is that let me duplicate this rectangle. Okay, and this one I'm placing it here, and these 2 points I am bringing it over here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make them look large like this. Okay, so to do that, what I am doing is I am expanding this line over here like this. Okay, the same way, I am going to select this point and I am going to expand it over here. Okay, so now yes, so as much as I expand, you will know how it is differentiated. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I am going to create another shape, and this time I'm just going to make it look like this. Okay, okay, now we are creating that depth which is required. And then on top, again, we have another shape which is arranged as a roof. And over here, we have something which is arranged as a floor. So for this, what I'm going to do is that I am going to create one more rectangle. Okay, and then this time I'm just going to make this and take it over here. Okay, and then this point I am going to bring it here, and this point I am going to bring it here. Okay, let me add in one more point. Okay, yes, so the same way I'm going to do it over here. Let me bring it and join it over here, and then I'm going to create one more point, and then I'm going to take it and place it over here. Okay, so now I'm going to replicate the same, and then let me change the direction of it. Okay, and then let me place it here. Just I will mark these points and join it over here. Okay, yes, now what we are going to do is that let us color these things. Okay, so before we could color it, what I'm going to do is that let me adjust this till here. Okay, so I know that I'm showing you things in 2D, but you have to understand this logic because to know what is perspective. Okay, so for that I am showing you this particular representation of whatever it is. Okay, yes. So here I am just adjusting the room according to whatever is there over there in the reference. Okay, yes. So now we are going to fill it with some colors, and then let me first remove all the black lines which are around. Okay, so here let me add in a few other colors. Okay, and here I'm going to add in few more colors which will seem like the roof. Okay, and then the same color I'm going to give for the floor. Okay, so now when we look at this particular thing, okay, so even though if it is 2D, okay, but still there is a representation of 3D. Okay, so this is how this image that we see here is also created. Okay, just the perspective is like the I mean, it is like 3D. Okay. So here, when we come to 3D, the perspective becomes more important. Okay. Because I'll show you an example. So here, now we are seeing this wheel. Okay. So here we are seeing this shape. Now, you guys are going to answer me how this wheel looks like in different angles, which I am going to switch now. Okay, so the first angle is going to be this. So how does this wheel seem for you? So you can please type that here in the live chat. So just type it in one word. Yes, a line. Okay. Okay, superb. So we have got an answer saying it looks like a line. Okay, so now we are going to go to its side view. Okay, so from here, how does it look like? From here, how does it look like? Does it still look like a line? A ring. Okay. But are you able to tell what is the I mean what is the depth of a ring or something? Okay, so here we are also getting answers that it looks like a circle. Good. So now I am going to switch to the other view of it. So now how does it look like? Now how does it look like? Line. Okay. So here I have switched between three different angles. So first one I showed you the top view, and then I showed you the side view, and then I am showing you the front view now. So each and every angle has its own perspective. But now here when we look from the front view, we are able to see a line, but still when we zoom into it, we are able to see that there is some depth for the object, okay, which is some thickness for the object. Okay, so here when we view it from the top view, okay, so there also we were able to see that the object is this thick. Okay, the object has this much of thickness. And then we turn to the side view of it. So over here we got to know that the object looks like a circle. Okay, the object has the circle shape. So this is how your views will work. Okay, now when I switch it to perspective view like this, okay, so you will be able to relate that this looks like a thick tire shape. Okay, it doesn't look like a line or it doesn't look like a circle, but the circle object also has some shape for it. I mean, also has some thickness for it. Okay, so this is what we get to know it, right? So this is how perspective helps you in 3D modeling. So where all you can use this perspective is everywhere you create 3D model, you have to use and go by the perspective view. Okay, so this is the one type of view that we saw about. Okay, so one is perspective view. Okay, which will give you the views in all the angles whichever you want to visualize the object from. Okay, so this is the perspective view. The next type of view that we are going to see is about orthographic view. Okay, so here as I switched now, so here you will be able to see that the user perspective has changed to front orthographic. Okay, so here previously I was having the view like this and it showed user perspective over here. Okay, now I changed the view and over here it shows front orthographic. So orthographic view gives you the visualization of two angles. Okay, so any two angles that can be. It can be the front view or the top view or the side view or the bottom view or whatever it is. It will tend to give you that a respective view of the model. Okay, so here now I am here in the front orthographic view. Okay, but when I consider the shape of the object, okay, and then if I view it from the front view, the side view of the uh, model is shown. Okay, so to make it rotate, to show the front view of the torus, so what I am doing is that press R. Okay, first select, then press R, and then I'm going to rotate in Z axis. Okay, so once I press Z, Z is highlighted, and here I am just randomly rotating it. Okay, and here as I rotate, the rotate menu comes up. Okay, so now I have tilted it around -83. So here I am going to change it to -90 so that the proper right angle is maintained over here. Okay, so I have tilted it to the proper front side of whichever is there. Okay, now when I look at from the front view, I am able to know that okay, in the front it is how it looks like. Okay, and then if I go to the side view, then this is how it looks in the side view, and then if I switch to the top view, then I will be able to know that this is how it looks in the top view. Okay, so here in the left corner you will be able to see what type of view it is. Okay, so is it front or side, right? Okay, or is it going to be top or is it going to be bottom? Okay, so all these different types of views are seen in orthographic. Okay, if you want to visualize an object from any one particular angle, so then you have to go to the orthographic view. Okay, so there are shortcuts for this orthographic view, and also there are other ways to view this orthographic or perspective view. So over here in the right corner where you have all these X, Y, and Z axis representations shown. So over there, if you select Z or Y or X, okay, it will change the views. Apart from this, you also have the other options to visualize other sites. Okay, now if I am in x-axis, okay, or if I am coming to front orthographic, okay, so I also have to know how does it look like in the back orthographic. Okay, now I am seeing front, and I also should be able to understand or know how does it look like in the back side of this object. So over there I have to give minus x or um, minus y or minus x or something. Okay, so I have to also see it over here. Okay, so this is how I can switch between. Okay, now here the back orthographic is seen. Okay, so as we switch between angles over here, the object gets tilted accordingly, and we will be able to see the perspective as well as orthographic views. Okay, so now next to this, what we are going to see is that what are the shortcuts to control the different types of views. Okay, so how are we going to handle different controls? So over here, once we go to this edit, okay, and then we have to go to preferences. So yesterday I told you about this. So in the input, okay, once you enter into preferences, here you will have the input option. Okay, in this input you have to select this emulate numpad. Okay, you have to click this, check this emulate numpad option. Okay, only when you give this emulate numpad option, you will be able to know if you will be able to control the type of shortcuts that I am going to tell you. Okay, so here once you have checked this emulate numpad, then you have to click here in the hamburger menu, and then you have to hit save preferences. Okay, and then close it. Now what you have to do is that you will have numbers on top of your letters. Okay, so if you are dealing with your laptops or keyboard, anyhow you will have some numbers with symbols right on top of your letters. Okay, not the numbers in the right side, so just the numbers on top of your letters. Okay, so if you press 1, it will give you the front orthographic view. Please write these shortcuts. 1 in numpad will give you the front orthographic view. Number 2 will give you user perspective from bottom view. Number 3 will give you right orthographic view. However, the object looks like in the right side, so that is given by this number 3 in the numpad. Then number 4. 4 gives you the perspective again. Then you have number 5. 5 again gives you the orthographic, okay, like this. 6 gives you the orthographic again. 7 gives you the top view, top orthographic of the model. 8 gives you the perspective view again. 9 gives you the perspective again. Okay, so here 1, 3, then 7 gives you the orthographic view. 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 gives you the perspective view. User orthographic. Okay, so previously we will discuss about perspective, and then here it is about user orthographic. Okay, so if you want to view an object from the front view, okay, you have to give 1 in numpad. If you want to view its right side, then you have to press 3 in numpad. If you want to visualize its top view, then it is 7 in numpad. Other than 1, 3, 7, all the other things will give you the perspective views. Okay, so these are the different shortcuts that we can handle. So if you have understood till now, you can please type here as understood here in the live chat. Yes, super. Great. Now we are going to go further and explore a few other options. Okay. Yes. So to start with, okay, super. Great. Fine. Now we are going to get into the other types of options and tools that are present here in Blender. Okay, to start with, now we are going to create an object in Blender. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is that let me delete off the existing torus. Okay, now before I could create something, first I have to know which angle I am creating an object in. Okay, now I am here in the top orthographic view. Okay, so what I will do is that now let me import a cube. Okay, so shift A, mesh, and then cube. Okay, so I have imported a cube. Now I am going to scale the cube. Okay, so to scale the cube, I am going to press S for scale, and then I'm going to scale it in x-axis to make it look wide. Okay, please understand, now we are visualizing the object from its top view. Okay, so now I am pressing on scale S and then X. Okay, now I am scaling it in X axis. Okay, and then I am going to make it look a bit wider in Y axis too. So I am pressing S again, and then I am pressing on Y, and now I am making it look wide like this. Okay, now when I look at the object in the perspective view, so this is how it looks like. Okay, now what I'm going to do further is let me go to the right view of it. Okay, right orthographic. Now here I am in the right orthographic. Now I am going to reduce its width. Okay, that is reduce its height here in the Z axis. To reduce height, again I'm going to scale the object. So press S and then Z. So here I am going to bring my mouse in to make it look small like this. Okay, now I have scaled the object in Z axis. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to move it a little bit above and then keep it over here. So for that, I'm going to grab the object using G. And now once I have grabbed the object, I'm going to press Z so that it moves only in Z axis and nowhere else. Okay, so here I'm just moving it on top and I'm fixing it here. Okay, so let me go to the front view and see how it looks like. Okay, so in the front view, it looks like this. And in the top view, it looks like this. And in the side view, it looks like this. Okay, now next to this, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create one more cube. Okay, so to create one more cube, again, I'm clicking on Shift plus A and then Mesh and Cube. Okay, so now the cube that I have created here is in right orthographic. Okay, so not in top or front, it's in right. So what I'm going to do is that from this right side, I'm going to adjust its height and then its thickness. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is that scale, yes, and then Y. Okay, now I am scaling it down like this. Okay, so this much I have scaled it. Now let me go to the front view. So this is how it looks in the front view. And when I look in the top view, so this is how it looks in the top view. Now again, I'm going to the right orthographic view of it. Okay, now I'm going to build the height of the object. So to build the height of the object, what I'm going to do is that by selecting it, press yes and then Z and scale it like this. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take this and fix it over here. Okay, so for that I'm pressing G and then let me first move it in Z axis. Okay, and place it here. Then after that, I'm going to press G and then let me press Y to move it in Y axis. So now when I'm moving it, okay, so I have to be very cautious that I have to fix it correctly over here. Okay, right under the corner. Okay, so for that, what I need to do is that I have to zoom in so much like this. Okay, and then press G, Y, and then make it take it over here and then fix it. But still, it sometimes we might not achieve it. Okay, so for that there is an option here in Blender. Okay, so the option is that there is something called as snap, SNAP. Please write and keep. The option is snap. Okay, so once you give snap, okay, so there what happens is that you get to snap an object to another object. Okay, snap is like the magnet. Okay, so here to turn on snap, what you have to do is that over here on top you will have this icon. Okay, so this is called a snap, and if you turn this on, okay, this will look like this. And then now when you grab an object, okay, and then if you specify the uh, axis, okay, and then if you move it over here, okay, can you see it moves in a restricted manner? Okay, because what it tends to do is that, okay, now what I'll do is I'll change this to vertex. So here once we have turned on snap, okay, then next to it we have a drop down. So if we click on the drop down, we have different other options. Okay, so here I'm going to uh, click on vertex. Okay, so once I have clicked on vertex, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to move the object in particular axis. And as I move, as you will be able to see that it will try to snap to the, it will try to attract to the nearby vertex. Okay, so here if I bring it, so it'll try to get snapped to the nearby object whichever is there. So let me just move it a bit above. So here Yeah, so here it is not happening because we have not adjusted it from the front view. Okay, so now what I am going to do is that I have switched to the front view. Okay, now I will press R again. Okay, sorry, press ES again, and then hit X. Okay, to scale it in X axis. I'm going to make it look thin like this. Okay, now if I press G and X, and then if I hit control, okay, what it will try to do is that it will try to fix to the nearby vertex whichever is there. Okay, now let me just show it to you. Now I have turned this vertex on. Okay, I'll select the object again. So let me go to the top view. Okay, now I'll press G and then EX, and then as I move, it will snap to the nearby vertex, whichever is there. Okay, can you see? So it has snapped so perfectly. Okay, now we have brought in the snap. Okay, now again what we are going to do is that we are going to duplicate this object and keep it nearby. Okay, um, okay. Right. So here we are just going to duplicate the object. So for that, what I'm going to do is that let me select these two objects first, and then let me move it a bit above and place them right on top of the green line which I have here. Okay, so I'm just moving it and keeping it over here. So let me just move it closer and see so that I'm placing it right on top. Yes, so it's here. Now what I'll do is that I have selected this one. Okay, so if I want to duplicate an object, I have to press Shift plus D. Okay, so as I press Shift plus D, there is another cube which is created. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to grab it. Okay, can you see that orange color circle which is present over here on top? So it is the thing for snapping. Okay, can you see as I move it? So it just snaps to the nearby vertex wherever I move it. Okay, so if I move it here, it snaps to here. So like that, wherever I move, that orange circle will indicate that I am snapping an object to any one particular vertex, okay, which is nearby. So now I have created, another leg for the table, okay. So now what we are going to do is that we'll go to the front view. Okay, so when we look from the front view, so here we are just able to see only one box. Okay, but when we see from the perspective, we are knowing that it is a table. Okay, so this is why I told you that seeing things from all perspectives becomes important when we visualize things in 3D. Okay, so this is how things work. Now I'll go to the side view. Okay, now I'll just select both these objects again. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate them. Okay, so I'll just deselect this light which is selected here. Okay, now I'm going to press Shift D. Okay, and then I'm going to leave them like this. Okay, by clicking right. Okay, then what I'm doing is that I'm going to the front view of it. Okay, so after going to the front view, I'm going to press G and then X. Okay, so as I move and keep it here. So previously snap did not work because we dragged in both the objects together. Okay, so now I am just trying to move one object and then place it here. Okay, so let me also see this from top. Okay, so let me just go to this view. Okay, I'm seeing it from the back orthographic. So now let me just grab it and then let me place it over here. Okay, so this is how things work when we are snapping. Okay, it just gets fixed to the object very perfectly. Okay, so now we have created a table. Okay, so if you want to create even more details for this, what you can do is that now I have created only one thing on top, right? So now what I'm going to do is that let me just duplicate this one, okay, this cube. So I'm just going to press Shift plus D, okay, and then leave it over there. Then I'm going to go to the top view. Okay, I'm going to scale it little more. Okay, so press yes, and I don't want it to be scaled in z-axis. I just want it to be scaled in x and y axis. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm pressing Shift plus Z. Okay, so that I can scale in only x and y axis. Okay, now I have scaled it a little bit. Now let me go to the front view and see. Okay, now I'm not able to see any difference because the position is the same. Okay, now I'm going to press G and then hit Z. Okay, let me move it on top like this and leave. Okay, now we have created some appearance like this. Okay, and again what I'm going to do is let us give it some kind of depth in the legs. Okay, so for this what I'm doing is let me again duplicate the leg, okay, by clicking on Shift plus D. Okay, and then what I'm doing is that Shift plus D and then right click, and now again I'm going to scale the object. Okay, to scale it only in Z axis I am pressing yes and Z. Okay, let me make it look smaller like this. Okay, and then what I'm doing is that I'll just grab it and move it here. Okay, can you see it gets snapped? Okay, so here yes, so here I am just moving it to this. Okay, so now I'm just moving it over here. Okay, so this time let me scale it even more. Okay, and then move it and place it. Okay, so here what I am trying to do is that I am trying to give it a leg or something. Okay, so here it has become so small. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is that let me scale it a bit more. Okay, and now we don't want the object to snap to the vertex. Okay, we want it to snap it to the thing which is the flat surface over here. Okay, so like this there is also a flat surface over here, so we just wanted to snap to that surface. Okay, so for that what I'm doing is go here on top to the snap options and then click the drop down, and then I'm going to select face. Okay, so once I have selected face, and then can you see it gets snapped to the face whichever is there. Okay, so grab, then Z, so it just snaps to the face which is there. Okay, so if you observe it properly, there will not be any space between this object and this. Okay, so this is how you can now change the modes of snapping. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll go to the side view. Okay, and then I'm just duplicating it and grab y-axis. Then let me move it over here and leave. Okay, let me also check its position by zooming in. Okay, yes. Now next to this, I'll go to the front view. Okay, and here I am going to duplicate it again and grab G for grab, then X for moving it in X axis. Okay, then I'm placing it here in the center. Okay, now again I'll go to the side view. Okay, I'll go to the side view now. Okay, so here in the right orthographic, I have fixed everything, but in the left side, I have not yet done. So for that, what I'm doing is to access right orthographic, we will um, we'll give the shortcut of numpad 3, right? So 3 is for orthographic. But if we want, I mean, right orthographic, if we want to visualize things in left, what we have to do is control plus 3 so that will be able to see the left orthographic view. Okay. So the same thing for every other option. So first, if we are giving numpad 1, okay, we'll be able to see front view. The same thing if we give control plus 1, okay, there we will just be able to see the back orthographic view. Okay, so like that, if we give 3, we'll be able to see right orthographic. If we give control plus 3, we'll see left orthographic. Okay, the same way 1 front orthographic, control plus 1 back orthographic. Okay, the same way 7 top orthographic, then control plus 7 bottom orthographic. Okay, so this is how you can switch between different views. Okay, now for this leg alone, we have not yet duplicated the object. Okay, so for that I have to go to the right orthographic view. Okay, because the table hasn't got its right leg, that is right side from our view. Okay, so from wherever we are seeing it, so this is the front view, so it's right side. I mean our right side is its left side. Okay, so here we are I mean we need it uh, to duplicate this one and place it over here. So for that I am just selecting it, shift plus D to duplicate it, and then y-axis, and then grab it and place it over here. Okay, so this is how we can add in few more details as well. Okay, but now when you notice one thing, okay, so all these objects are separate. Okay, so this cube over here is separate, the second cube which is over here is separate, the leg over here is separate. Okay, same way the other leg here is separate, so 4 legs are separate, and then next to 4 legs we have the cap which is in the bottom, so that is again separate. Okay, so all these objects are separate, they are not together. So here the thing is that as the objects are separate, the origin points are also separate for each and every object. Can you see it? So as I click, the origin point is shown separately for every object. So if in case there is any animation or something that you are doing, so if you are having the origin point separately, then it might not be good. Okay, it might be a problem for you. So in that case, what you have to do is that select all the objects. Okay, and then right click. Okay, you will have this option called join, and its shortcut is control J. Okay, so if you give control J, every object will become as one. Okay, and then the origin point that you have here, okay, so it's in the center of the object. Okay, but still here we have a problem because the center is like this. Okay, so when we look at the model, the center has to be this one where the world origin, cursor is, right? So for that, what I'm doing, I'm just right click, clicking the right mouse button, okay, and then set origin to 3D cursor. Okay, so now I will be able to rotate things like this, or scale it like this, or do whatever is required. So here I have made the center point for this, or if you want, you can also change the origin. Now I am just right clicking over here, set origin to geometry. Okay, so there what will happen is it will take the center point of the geometry. So geometry is nothing but the solid shapes that we are able to see over here. Okay, so if we right click and give origin to geometry, it will take the center point of the entire shape that you have created. Okay, so this is how things will work on if you are joining the shapes. Okay, so have you understood it till now? If you have understood it, you can please type in understood or clear. Okay, so here we have a comment asking for the shortcut of for hand tool. So it's H. Okay, H, or you can just go over here and access it. It's very easy. Okay, yes. Now that we have seen how to create a basic model. Okay, now next to this, we are going to learn one important other concept. Okay, so which is the vertex, edge, and face. Okay, so when we take each shape, okay, so each and every shape has its own three things. Okay, one is vertex, one is edge, and one is face. Okay, please write and keep it. One is vertex, vertex, vertex. The second one is edge, edge, edge. Third one is face, face, face. Okay. Now for this, what I'm going to do is let me move this table uh, and keep. Okay, so here let me create a simple cube. Okay, so here we have a cube. Okay, so now we are going to learn one important concept, which is vertex, edge, and face. So as I see this cube, okay, so we are just able to see only a cube. Okay, so we are not able to see anything else because we have not enabled edit mode for this object. Okay, so to edit an object, we have to go to this drop down. Okay, so here it says object mode all the time. So if you click the drop down, you will have this option which says edit mode. You have to go to the edit mode. So as you see in this edit mode, okay, you will be able to see that there are some black dots. Okay, so here we have one black dot. So likewise, we have black dots in every place. Okay, so these black dots are called as vertices. Okay, so one black dot is called as vertex. So, so many black dots together are addressed as vertices. Okay, vertices, vertices. Okay, so I'll repeat it again. One black dot is called as vertex, and too many black dots together are addressed as vertices. Okay, so for a cube, okay, there are 8 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so 8 vertices form a cube. Now we are going to learn what is an edge. Okay, so here how to switch between a vertex mode and edge mode and face mode is. So when you are in the edit mode or object mode, so underneath it you will have this particular menu which shows up when you are in the select box. Okay, when you have this select box tool selected, so there these kind of options will be displayed. So the first one is the vertex mode. Okay, so here you can just click between vertex. So the next okay, so here now we are going to see these 3 tools which in you can switch between the 3 different modes which I was addressing. Okay, so here you will have the options. Okay, so for to explain about these options, those who ever participated in graphic designing tool will remember uh, an option called Pathfinder. I told you that there is an option called Pathfinder, and in the Pathfinder, you can join 2 objects, then intersect 2 objects. So, all those kind of things I explained you. So, these options are similar to that. Okay, so here I mean we will anyhow explore those tools, but now we are going to explore these 3 different options. So one is vertex mode. Okay, so as you see the option over here, there will be only one dot in the box. Okay, so that is called as vertex select mode. Okay, so you can just select there and you can click on the vertex. And the second one is edge select. Okay, EDGE, edge select. So edge is nothing but the line which joins 2 different vertices. Okay, so here we had one vertex here and one vertex here. So the line that goes between one and the other vertex is called as an edge. Okay, so the second mode is edge select mode. So as we see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So a cube has 12 edges. Okay, so 8 vertices and 12 edges. Okay, so now we are going to see the third mode, which is the face select mode. So face select mode is nothing but 4 edges together is called as a face. Okay, so here we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 edges together is one face. Okay, so if you select this face select mode, you will be able to click on the faces. Okay, rather than selecting the edges or vertices, you can just select on the faces. Okay, so that is why when I was handling this uh, snap tool, okay, so I changed the vertex to the face when I was handling, right? So if you could remember, you can just know it. So previously when I wanted to snap the object to vertices, I just was in vertex select mode. Then when I wanted to snap one face with the other face, so there I changed this to face select. Okay, so this is how edge, face and vertices impact your shapes. Did you understand? If you had understood it, or you can just type in clear or understood here in the live chat. If you have not, you can just ping me your doubt or question just in a word. I'll give you a minute's time. Superb. Thank you. Thank you for those who are dropping a message. Great. Fine. So now next to this, we will explore few other options. Okay, right. So as you are all clear till whatever we have seen now, we'll go to the other set of options. Okay. So to include another set of options, now we are going to explore into a few other. Right. So yes. So now what I'm going to do is let me bring this table. Okay, let me just move this cube and keep somewhere else. So let me just move this table to the center. Okay, right. So now what I'm going to do is that let me just align it to the center first. Okay. Now here, as we have learned what vertex select mode, edge select mode, and face select mode. Now we are going to explore other set of different modes. Okay. So whenever we are creating a 3D model, okay, it is always good and it is always necessary to see the structure of the model. Okay, so structure of the model in the sense how many vertices are there, how many edges are there, and how many faces are there. So to visualize all those things is important. Okay, so now here, since this is a table, if I ask you, you will be very well able to say that, okay, so here we have one edge, here we have another edge, and wherever two edges are linked, so over there we have some vertices, all those things you will be able to say. But if you are building a complicated structure, okay, so over there, what you will have to do is that you will have to visualize things in different views. Okay, so the first view is going to be the wireframe. Okay, wireframe, wireframe. Okay, so this wireframe is can be opted by clicking Z in your keyboard. If you click Z, you will have four different modes. Okay, now we are in solid mode. Okay, so the solid object is seen here. If we shift it to wireframe, this is how it will look like. Okay, it will give us the wireframe of the object. Can you see it? So the cube is also shown as a wireframe here. And again, now if you want to shift from this wireframe, to any other view. So there again you have to give Z, and then now let's say I am choosing this rendered. Okay, so there what will happen is, can you see the effect of light is also seen over here, but in wireframe or solid view we were not seeing the light emission and all. Okay, if I switch to wireframe, it was just the outline of the object, and if I switch to solid, the option, I mean the appearance was just very raw. If I switch it to rendered, the impact of light which is over here is also showing. Okay, so as I grab the light and move it like this, I can see a good change in the object. Okay, so if I just leave it here or here, so accordingly the object will also be shown. Okay, so this is how rendered view looks like. Okay, so then I am switching to Z again, and here we have something called as material preview. So here in this material preview, this shows which material is applied to our shape, or I mean to our model. Okay, so what is the material which is applied? So here now we have not applied any material, so that is why it is showing us plain. Okay, now what I will do is that I will apply a material, and then I will show you how it looks like. Okay, so to apply a material, what I'm doing is, let me go to the options which is here. Okay, but now we don't have material option to set up. Okay, so we don't have the material here. So for that, what I'm doing is, let me go to the solid view. Okay, as I switch, as I select the object, even if I go to the material preview, I will be able to see the material properties. So previously I did not have the object selected. I just selected the light and then I deselected it. So it did not show us the material properties option. Okay. Once I have selected the object, it shows the material properties objects, which is here in the bottom. Okay. So as I select it, and then if I go here to the material properties, here it will show the object name. Okay, so since we have grouped everything inside one, it's just showing us as cube. Okay, which shows us as one object. Now what I will do is, I will go here, click on new. Okay, so as I click on new, a new material is added. Once a new material is added, here we have something called as base color. Okay, so here I am just going to click on this gray color which is here. So now as I change the colors here, can you see the material is being applied to the object which is here. Okay, so I'll just switch between this color now. Okay, now my material's color is pink. Okay, now if I go to the Z option and if I go to rendered, so this is how, if I render my object, so this is how the appearance will be. Okay, so I can just change wherever I want to set the lighting. Okay, so if I want to increase any lighting, so I can just go here. All right, so I can just move the lighting and keep wherever I want the object to be shown well. Okay, so as of now, let me just leave it off here. Okay, so this is how the object that I created is will be rendered if I am exporting this as an object. Okay, so this is how you can apply material to any object. Okay, so now we will just try for this cube again. Okay, I'm just going to the cube, then the material properties, and then I'll give new material. Then a material will be added, and then what I will do is I will select this color which says base color, and then I will switch between whichever color I want. Let me leave it to blue. Okay, and then the blue color material is applied to the cube. Okay, so this is how you can handle between different materials. Okay, so here I was telling you that you can operate these things with Z. Okay, so there is also another way to access these different things. So here on top, you will have four different spheres. Okay, so if you click the first one, it will give you the viewport shading option. Okay, which is the wireframe. Okay, it will show every object in wireframe. Then the second one is the solid mode. Okay, so the mode that we create to create design one object, so that will be shown here in solid mode. The third one shows you the material options. Okay, so however or whatever is your render looks like, so that one is shown over here. So the fourth, the material is applied, so that one is shown here in the third view. The fourth one shows you the rendered view. So when you are exporting an object, however an object looks like, so that is shown here in the fourth view. Okay, so here if you want to switch off something, you can just click the drop down, and then you can switch toggle on and off the entire thing. Okay, so here as I turn this scene world off, okay, the lighting seems to turn off, okay, in the world, okay, not on the object, in the world. So I'll just toggle it on again and off once more. You can just see the difference. Okay, so here now I have this turned on, so I have the surface to be a bit lit. So if I go here and turn the thing off, it shows the entire thing to be dark. Okay, so here what I can do is I am going to shading view. Okay, so here we have different options of shading. Okay, so however or wherever we want to show our object, or if we want it to appear bit bright or anything like that, we can switch between these things which are over here. Okay, so that can be regulated here as well. So I will also explain this particular tab again once we get in detail about all those things. Okay, so now here I can switch between different types of render passes. Okay, can you see it? As I change things, it gives me different types of options. I mean, different types of appearances of the render whichever I am having in the scene. Okay, so yes, now here we have landed up in the final render view of the object. Okay, so have you understood the differences between different modes of viewing the objects, and how to apply materials in the materials for an object? If you have understood, just text over here in the chat which is the option that you have to handle if you want to apply material to an object. So what is the option that you will take up? Type here in the chat what is the option that you will take up if you want to apply a material for an object. Yes, I'll repeat the question again. What is the option that you will choose if you want to apply a material for an object? Okay, yes. So it is material properties. Okay. No, it's not shift A. I'm asking you what is the option that you want to choose if you are applying material to an object. Okay, so it is material properties. Now, next to this, if you want to apply, sorry, if you, sorry, what are the four different modes of viewing an object? What are the four different modes of viewing an object? Yes, what are the four different modes of viewing an object? So I told you that there are four different modes to view an object in. So what are those four? Type here in the live chat. Okay. No, I'm not asking about the two different uh, views of perspective or orthographic. I'm asking you what are the four different modes that you can choose to visualize an object. I'm not talking about the view, I'm just talking about okay. So I was addressing about the viewport shading. I told you, I showed you now, right? So I showed you four different modes of viewport shading, wherein we also discussed about the render view and all that. Could you please tell me those four different modes of viewport shading? So those are, one is wireframe. Okay, so how you can access those options is by clicking Z in your keyboard. You can just switch between different options. Okay, so if you just hover your mouse onto this, it will take you to the solid view. Okay, if you switch it to wireframe, it will show you the wireframe. Okay, so rendered and then material preview. Okay, so these are the four different modes of viewport shading. Okay, yes. Now what we will do is that we'll see the difference between global and local um, origin points. Okay, so here now when we talk about origin point, there are two different things. Okay, so one is global and the other one is local. So global is I'll just show the difference between these two using this cube. Okay, so let me just move this table somewhere else and keep, yeah. So let me just, I'll just move this geometry to, okay, selection to cursor, right. So here I have hit the option selection to cursor to make the selected object to come to the cursor. Okay. So here what I am doing is that I'm going to show you how global and local axis works. So here there are actually, I mean, as we all know that the Earth's axis is in one way, right? So when we talk about Earth also, there is this X, Y, and Z axis wherein we tend to uh, visualize the directions, right? So the same way here in Blender also, if an object is there. Okay, so the object will obviously have the X, Y, and Z axis according to the global axis. So wherever there is X axis for the globe, this object will also have the same direction as x-axis, the same way for y and z as well. Okay, so here now when we see with this move tool, okay, so the axis shows this red line to be x-axis, and y is shown like this and z is shown like this. Okay, the same thing here, if I switch between this global to local, okay, so again what will happen is, in case if you are rotating an object or something, okay, can you see the object's direction is showing this way. Okay, if you again switch it to global, then again it will show you the upper direction as the z-axis. Okay, and this is how things will work if you are switching between global and local. So now what happened was, as we rotated the object, the axis also rotated along with the object. Okay, but the global axis will remain the same no matter whatever side the object is rotated or tilted. Okay, so this is the major difference between global and local axis. So whenever you are modeling, it is always better to have this global axis as your axis. Okay, so if you are choosing between local axis for your object, then you might just get held up somewhere in the middle. Okay, so you can just switch to this global axis whenever you are uh, working on modeling. Okay, so here if I just tilt it again like this, okay, in some random directions, now if it is global it will show this one. Okay, but if I switch the local axis, then it will show me the other direction of the axis. Okay, so yes, this is about global and local um, axis, right? So after this, now I am going to give you a task. Okay, so I want you to model a chair. All right, so I showed you how I modeled this table. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a task to model a chair. So let me also show you a reference for the model. Okay, so you can take this model. Okay, if you want to challenge yourself, then you can also take up which model. Okay, you can just take up any other model of chair if you want to challenge yourself to test how your 3D modeling skill is. Okay, so here I am giving you the reference of this chair. Okay, if you want to challenge yourself, you can take up any other chair as well if you want to. Right, so this will be your task for the day. Okay, so tomorrow when you come, you have to finish off this model of the chair and upload it in the drive. Okay, so you will be notified in the message whichever drive link you have to upload things, and you can just take a screenshot of the object from all the axes. Okay, so now I'll just delete it off. Now if I have this table, okay, so selection to cursor, yes, so if I have this table object, okay, I'll go to the rendered view. Okay, I'll go to the front view, and then I'll have to take a screenshot of it and then attach. Okay, and then if I am viewing it from the top view, I'll again take a screenshot of it and then have it as the top view. Okay, while you are taking a screenshot, you also have to cover this entire space where it also shows the top orthographic and all that. Okay, so from here you have to take a screenshot of it and post. Okay, so like that you also have to view it from the perspective view. Okay, how it looks like in perspective view, and how it looks like in orthographic view. So all these things you have to um, uh, bring in as screenshots, and then you have to post it in the link or anything that we send over message. Okay, so this will be your task. So you're not going to create a table, you are going to create a chair. Okay, so if you want, you can also create any other different design of table if you want. Okay, so this is the task for the day. If you have understood the task for the day, you can just type an understood or clear, so that we can wind off till there. Okay, done. So here, since I hope that all of you are clear with the task that I've given to you. We will close the session for the day, and thank you so much for participating in the second day of 3D modeling course, which is organized by Rotary Club of Madras Metro and supported and presented by Tech-iera Innovations Private Limited. Thank you so much for joining. We'll meet in the next class, which is tomorrow. So we'll see some other tools and techniques that we can handle in Blender. Thank you. Bye. Good night.